Greetings, Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
He's at it again. Donald Trump says Canadians would be better off if they were just Americans. He's also talking about getting rid of FEMA. He is touring disaster areas, the hurricane damage, the wildfire damage. He's sucking not just the oxygen out of the room, but the entire world. He's dominating headlines again today. And we have that very embarrassing footage of Donald Trump from the WEF from years ago that we'll share with you tonight because it's making the rounds. And I'm sure it will be a generator for discussion as we embark on this edition of Maverick News on this 24th day of January 2024. And discussion is what it's all about tonight because we're going to go to the phones. You can call in, weigh in on the conversation. Right from the top of the show, we're going to start taking calls. And we'll continue to take calls for the duration of the program as we work our way as well through the top news stories of the day.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the Founding Fathers. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth.
The entire world is watching.
Every dictator, every crazy dictator in the world is watching. The world is watching. On TV,
the entire world is watching.
On social media.
But the entire world is watching, and yes, they are seeing what we have apparently bravely been willing to say that others are thinking.
Stand for freedom. Literally stand for freedom. Let's get this done. The entire world is watching.
We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars.
Maverick News. Maverick News. Maverick News.
Let me have more control of my own destiny.
The world is watching.
Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. 1-519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. Okay, let's get into it. I've also got video of Sophie Trudeau. what you're going to want to see tonight. Yeah. Where are we going to start? Oh, well, let's start. Well, okay. Let's start with Trump. Because this is the clip that's creating all the frenzy, at least up here in the Great White North of Kanakistan. I'm a little disjointed here right now, but that's okay. We've got him. Yeah, he is making waves, and Chrystia Freeland, actually, the former Deputy Prime Minister, former Finance Minister under Justin Trudeau, now running for the Liberal leadership, still a current member of Parliament, Liberal. She's the one who is posting, well, she's one of many people reposting this clip of Trump speaking today about how he would love to make Canada the 51st state because, America has a better healthcare system.
A nation. Also, they've been very nasty to us on trade. Historically, Canada has been very, very bad to us, very unfair to us on trade. So we'll see how it all works out. I would love to see Canada be the 51st state. The Canadian citizens, if that happened, would get a very big tax cut, tremendous tax cut, because they're very highly taxed. And you wouldn't have to worry about military. You wouldn't have to worry about many of the things. You'd have better health coverage. You'd have much better health coverage. So I think the people of Canada would like it, if it's explained. But just to start off, they'd have a massive tax cut, and they'd have a lot more business, because then we'd let business go to Canada routinely, and there'd be no tariffs. If we a nation.
I don't know. What do you guys think? He says we wouldn't have to worry about military. I'm worried about their military right now. I'm afraid that we might see tanks rolling down the street very soon. And I'm not really joking, actually, especially when I've seen, just even in the last 24 hours, some stuff on social media from some other prominent American influencers in the Trump camp who are kind of pussyfooting around that, just dancing around it. And I don't like what I'm hearing, but hey, man, whatever. Some people want to get invaded. It's masochistic. I just don't know. What a weird time. Do you really think that healthcare would be better? I think it would be different. I've experienced healthcare on both sides of the border. Healthcare here has at times been really bad, really bad. The quality of the healthcare over on the U.S. side is, I would say, can be better if you can access it. So too is the case here, though, because we have waiting lists. And the quality of care can be really, really good here if you can access it. The real issue is access. There's universal access here, but long waiting lists. Over there, you get faster service, but sometimes people can't afford it if they don't have insurance. It's a more complex issue than just become part of the United States and insto presto changeo, you have better health care. It isn't that simple, nor is it evenly distributed. So it's a different kind of system. But if you want state-of-the-art health care and you want faster service, you want to head across the border. You want to make sure that you have coverage, even if you are poor, middle class, whatever. You don't want to go bankrupt if you need cancer treatment or heart surgery. Canada might be the place for you. It's open for discussion, and you can join the conversation tonight at 1519-401-1373. That's 1519-401-1373. Doug Ford has been, the Premier of Ontario, has been one of the most vocal pro-Canada, Team Canada players. And he says that Ontario, even the Canadian government, I think, needs a mandate moving ahead. And this is largely because of Donald Trump's threat of imposing, well, promise really, of imposing this 25% tariff across the board. And I need to get this queued up. And he says he's going to have an election. He is going to. Sorry, I'm losing my track here. I'll come back to this. He says he's going to announce an election in Ontario next Wednesday. So I guess it's kind of like he announced that he's calling an election, but said that he's going to call the election next Wednesday. So if you say you're going to call the election, isn't that like calling an election? Sort of. Well, that's what he did today. So in Ontario, the province of Ontario will be going to the polls very soon. We'll get the details next Wednesday. What else we got going on here tonight? Oh, this is a clip from Jesse Waters. And I think this is stupid. I think he's, as time marches on, I think Jesse Waters gets a little dumber every day. I don't even, like, what would motivate someone to say something like this on television, or even just say it? I don't understand what the issue is. He's criticizing Kamala Harris's husband for going shopping with his wife. Here, I'll play you the clip, and then you can comment on it if you want tonight. I don't get what the issue is. It just seems like a non-issue.
The New York Post caught her grocery shopping with Dougie Fresh. What kind of husband goes grocery shopping with his wife? The New York Post caught her.
Why is that an issue? I don't know. I didn't see the whole clip. Maybe there's something more to it, but it just seems like sort of a throwaway comment in the middle of it that ends up not being a throwaway comment because it's just kind of dumb. And it's like it's passively aggressive toward the guy, and I don't know what the issue is. Hey, husbands out there, have you ever gone grocery shopping with your wife? And is that an issue? Is that like a non-masculine kind of thing to do? I go shopping with my wife sometimes. Actually, I wish we would go grocery shopping more often so I could just kind of hang out and spend more time with her, because she works really hard. And we work, like I do the program here, and I don't get to see her much at night. And so, yeah, sometimes we go grocery shopping together. Does that make me less of a man? What is that? Like, what is this hyper-masculinity that's suddenly going around where now you're not allowed to go? If you go shopping with your wife, you're a sissy. What is this? Is this grade 6? It just seems stupid. So much stupidity out there. Let's go to our first caller of the night. I don't know who this is. Hello, who's on the air with us?
It's Isabel. How are you?
Well, I'm fine. What are you thinking?
What am I thinking? First of all, happy Friday.
Yeah.
Made it to Friday without losing my mind. I don't want to be the 51st state, and what I look at is, okay, my brother's mother-in-law and father-in-law went on a cruise. She was having chest pains, so they got her helicoptered off of the cruise in the States, flew her to the hospital. Hospital stay, $75,000.
Yep.
Right. Now, my husband had, when he was alive, he had 5 heart attacks. He was in UH here. He was in intensive care. He went through a quintuple bypass. We didn't pay anything.
Right. That's right.
I mean, I know our health sucks, but my brother just went in on Sunday.
Yep.
He's 82.
Mm-hmm.
He had water around the heart. He's doing fine. But he had a private room in the ICU, beautiful room. Again, didn't pay anything. We pay this in our taxes.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, if you go to the States, yeah, you're going to get great health care. I hope you got a lot of money in the bank.
Yeah, or good insurance. If you have good insurance, you can get good health care.
And how many people in the States actually have good health insurance?
The fortunate ones who have good jobs and have benefits, and maybe even top it up with additional insurance they buy on top. Those are the people who get, superb health care. But if you are low income, I've been there, man. And I did many years ago, a whole documentary series comparing the U.S. and Canadian healthcare systems. And I compared Ontario to Texas. I found a city that was similar in size to Windsor, Ontario, and I did, a very close analysis, went down there, and there are advantages and disadvantages, but yeah, you're right. And up here, you're not going to go bankrupt. It is, we might pay higher taxes, but we get services in exchange.
Yeah, we do. I mean, we went to New York, and I visited my aunt in New York, and that was an experience. My husband had stitches in his arm. He got hurt at work before we went on our honeymoon. Great guy. When he went to get the stitches taken out, it was $150 for 7 stitches. That was in 1972. I'd hate to think what that would cost now.
Yeah. And I've been one of the most vocal critics of healthcare in Canada over the years, but I'm not just switching my position because of what's going on with Trump. If you recall, it was about 2 or 3 months ago, I had to go to emergency just to get some stuff checked out, and I spoke about it on the program. And even though I've been very critical of Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario and the Conservative government, I said then I was incredibly impressed with the improvements that were made to the healthcare system and the experience that I had when I went to emergency here compared to even a year prior. It was amazing. I was in quickly. They treated me like I was at a 5-star hotel. They were waiting on me hand and foot. They were bringing me heated blankets while I was laying there waiting for the doctor to wheel me in for tests and stuff. I have to say, it was amazing. And the Ontario government, in my opinion, has done a good job of sort of coming up with a little bit more of a hybrid system where some services are privatized and other ones are still all with the government. So they've been able to improve efficiencies a lot. And it was just much better. Because they weren't using doctors to come see you, they were using nurse practitioners. And so it was you could get way more service and faster because it wasn't all left up to the doctor. They were just making a lot of changes to the system, and it was just fantastic, I just have to say. And that would surprise some people coming from me.
I when I go to my doctor, when I get in to see her, it's usually a resident that I end up seeing, but I prefer to see the nurse practitioner because she's already available and because she knows your history. You're not starting off with somebody that's going, okay, so who are you, where from, you go through the whole spiel and you're like, oh my God, they're going to give me 5 minutes, they're going to kick me out by the time I answer all her questions.
Yeah.
So I would prefer, and I've had a few surgeries, haven't had any problems. The last one I had was a hip replacement in Strathroy. They were awesome.
Yeah, they just made a lot of really significant improvements here in Ontario. I know that some people sent me some stuff about Alberta here today, and I see some comments in the chat about it, saying that the Alberta healthcare system isn't very good. And yeah, I think they do have some pretty serious issues out there. A CBC story just today said that, doctors are overwhelmed. A lot of doctors are turning patients away. So they do need more doctors out there. I'm sure of that. And here too, I mean, that's still an issue. Not having access to family doctors in some communities remains a big issue.
Yeah, I mean, there's good things and there's bad things. Like I know my daughter's been waiting almost a year. Now she has severe Crohn's, and now she has problems swallowing. They finally found 6 months after she has a cyst on her esophagus.
Oh.
So she's fearful to swallow because she chokes. But this is taking like forever, and she has dropped weight from 135 down to like 106.
Wow.
So we've already gone through this. So there are bad things and good things. And I look at certain situations and I'm like, I haven't had any problems, but I know other family members have.
Yep.
And that's an issue. And I mean, she's only 39. I wish they would move their keister and do something, because I just see she's sliding down again. And because of the Crohn's, they didn't find that for 10 years. And she went down to 72 pounds at that time. I don't want to see that happen. I'd like them to, it's hard for her because she's got 3 kids, so she's got to feed the 3 kids and her partner. But then she's really hungry. But a lot of things she can't eat because she has Crohn's, and now she can't swallow some things because of this cyst in the esophagus. And I'm like, can we not just fix this? Like, how long does it take to get in and fix? So some people have issues, and other people don't seem to have the same issue.
Yeah.
It
depends on what your medical problem is, what kind of care you get, the community you're in. I think some northern communities have bigger issues because it's hard to get doctors to move up there. So Canada has some pretty unique problems too. And Trump should be careful what he asks for, because he might just get Canada, and then he'll have to find a way to provide service to people in very, very remote locations. You'll run into a whole bunch of problems they don't have in the States. Yeah.
I mean, the States is, there's more population for the land. We have more land and population.
Yes.
But, Canada's so wide open with very little population.
Yeah.
And I look at that all the time and I go, wow, the states have got people everywhere in every state. We have people in provinces, but not on all the province. I mean, there's bare spots in Canada a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He may want to, I'm not for the 51 state. Like, he's great for what he's doing for the states right now. That's fine. So, but there's a border.
I don't know. I don't even think he is good for the states right now, to be honest, because he's upsetting so many people. He's turning friends into enemies almost. I don't like it.
There's a few things he was doing there that this AI and this, what is it, not warp speed. What's the other one he's calling it now for?
Project Stargate.
Yeah, Stargate. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
I'm not so sure about it either. And people keep sticking up for him, but you think back, he's the guy who approved Operation Warp Speed. He's the guy who kept praising the vax. He's the guy who kept urging everyone to go get it. He's the guy who says even now that the vax saved lives. And some people are of the mind that they're going to start rounding up Dr. Fauci and friends and put them all on trial or something because, on Trump's order. But then I'm like, well, that doesn't make sense, because then he'd have to put himself on trial. He's the father of the vax. He took such pride in it. Doesn't make sense. What's that?
He didn't get it, did he?
Yeah, he got vaxxed and boosted. Yep. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I thought
sure did.
He took that hydrochloroquine when he got the...
No, he took the remdesivir when he got sick. Remember when he contracted COVID and they gave him remdesivir. They treated him with that. And then the media freaked out because he got in the vehicle and went for a little ride, and he had the mask on, he was waving, and when he was sick he stood up on the stairs, remember, and he was waving, but that was before the vaccines were available. And then later,
because they were commenting on how well he went up the stairs and stood up there.
Yeah, and it was a moment, and I remember looking at that and I thought, he's trying to show the world that even though he's ill, he's still working and he's strong. He doesn't want to appear weak, and you could tell he was laboring with his breathing at the time, so he definitely was not well. But just an interesting chronology. He's the guy. He gave us the vax, and everyone's like, he got tricked. Well, I don't know. Even now, he talks about how it saved lives. So, where's the truth in all this? I don't know.
What country is it right now that is indicting Fauci? Is it Europe? In Europe?
Is there a country indicting him?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Supposed to be a and I read it too. I'm like, what?
Why would it? This is weird though. Why would another country indict Fauci? Because Fauci's authority and anything that he had anything to do with was really just in the U.S. Unless you're accusing him of developing a medication that has been harmful and suggesting he had a hand in it. But I'm not sure how, I don't know if any of that is accurate. I can look it up here while you're on the line, I guess.
Yeah. Because I'm reading that and I'm like, well, they're going to arrest him for crimes against humanity? Okay, so wouldn't that be the States? But this is other country.
Yeah, I don't know. This, I hear stuff like that all the time, and I'm not sure how much of that is even really accurate.
I mean, it would be great. I'd like to see him behind bars. I really would. But they call him Ouchie Fauci.
I'm just checking. I don't know if Fauci was... So the answer is... Fauci is not currently indicted or wanted for arrest in any country. And there's no credible news reports or official government statements confirming any such legal action against Dr. Fauci. And claims that he is wanted for crimes like genocide or crimes against humanity in countries like Russia are also not supported by any reliable evidence. And these claims, and I'm using some AI technology here to just do a quick search.
Right.
And these are often based on misinformation or conspiracy theories circulated on social media, it says. That's the answer that came back. Take it for what it's worth.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was also skeptical. I wasn't aware of any. I've heard things like that, but I've not at any time seen that he's actually being pursued for arrest.
Whatever happened to Tam?
Oh, Dr. Tam?
Yeah.
I don't know. Isn't Dr. Tam still in business with Canada?
I mean, it's almost like she fell off the face of the earth since,
Well, I don't think that Dr. Tam's public profile is really needed right now at all.
Just weird. That's all you ever saw. And I would turn off the news because here we go. Tam's on there again. Tam's on there again. I'm like, oh my God.
I don't know. I'm just going to check on that too. I'm just going to check some websites here. Yeah, reappointed for an additional 3-year term.
Oh.
Yeah.
We have to look at her again when we want to
anytime I've seen Dr. Tam. It just brings back just bad memories. No, thank you. Let's move on. I'm glad Dr. Tam doesn't have a public profile right now. I don't want to hear from Dr. Tam.
Yeah, me either. Now, I got a thing on Facebook because we send each other notifications, but it's people that I know.
Yeah.
And I guess it was reported Strathroy has a case of the
Oh, there's a case of COVID?
what they say.
Oh yeah. Well, it's still out there, they say, right? I'm not surprised, and it's that time of year too, with people inside. So it's like a cold-based virus, so it spreads more in the wintertime.
Flu season.
What?
Flu season.
It's flu season. That's right. That's exactly right. And that's how these things spread.
Well, and you're inside, so yeah, your furnace is on.
Yeah.
And if you don't have an air cleaning system, like I don't, so I got to dust every day. Of course, my son says it keeps me out of trouble, but I don't know. But you're breathing that in, and so you get stifled, and then the minute you go outside, if you overdress, you're going to sweat.
Yeah.
And then you're going to get a chill. But, well, yeah, your body's got to blow it out somewhere, so it's going to come out top or bottom. You're going to go through a flu or whatever. I mean, I see the signs here all the time. Flu shots. I'm like, yeah, no, thank you. I've never had a flu shot.
No, me
and
either.
I don't want a flu shot.
No, me either.
I'll go to bed, sleep for 2 days. My husband could go to bed, sweat, and in 24 hours he'd get up fine. I'd be still dragging my butt through the house for a week.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? How do you sweat and get it out? Oh, it's a trick. Yeah, you got a trick, all right. But yeah, I could never do that. My son can do the same thing. Go to bed, cover himself up, totally sweat it out, and he's fine the next day. And I'm like, how does that work?
Well, I don't need remdesivir, and I don't need the vac because I have chicken soup, and that seems to work pretty well. Did you ever get COVID?
I might have in early 20s.
Yeah.
I went through a thing where, and it was weird. My nose felt like it was on fire. I've had sinus infections, but this wasn't a sinus infection. And when I would look at my nose in the mirror, my nose was like, it looked like it was bleeding, but it wasn't bleeding. It was like a sunburn inside my nose. That's the only way I can explain it. And it burned. I got to the point where I couldn't stand it anymore. I was sick for 3 weeks. I had 2 weeks holidays, so that was my 2 weeks, and then I had another week on top of that. So I was sick for 3 weeks. But my nose burned. My skin felt like a sunburn.
Yeah.
It was hard to put clothes on. I had no appetite. First I thought, okay, sinus infection. No, this is not a sinus infection. What the hell? It's not a flu. I mean, I had a body ache, but just to get dressed and put clothes on, it was like my clothes were made out of sandpaper.
That's interesting.
So, I mean, it could have been because, I was flat for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And I should have kicked myself in the butt, but I went and got the ouchie, and I wished I hadn't.
Oh, so you got the thingy in the army?
Yeah, I got the Kool-Aid in the... Yeah.
Oh, well, you survived. You're still with us.
Yeah, I had 3, which wished I'd never had.
Yeah.
Because my daughter had Crohn's.
Yep, okay.
And, the brainwash, you're going to help your daughter, Now I could probably shed that off to her. But I've gone and taken that, Dr. McCullough's, the spike protein. And I've been trying that.
Well, I think you're okay. We need to be careful about what we're saying about any of this stuff. We're on, okay? So we should probably change the subject. Because, we're on certain platforms.
Yes.
Again, chicken soup, or maybe I mispronounced it earlier. Jesse LeBlanc says chicken suit. I'm like, is that what I said? Oh, maybe I got it wrong. Anyway, And then Halo says, I've been sick since Trudeau took office.
I think we're all got the Trudeau flu. Are we done with him now, or?
I think we're pretty close. You know what though? Seems like people can't be. There's nothing that's going to make people happy. First, everybody was like, we want him to resign. Then when he says he's going to resign, they say, "Oh, you're a coward. You shouldn't resign. You need to stick around for the next election." Then we get a lawsuit from the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms, which could end the prorogation of Parliament. And if that happens, it could trigger an election faster than they can have a leadership convention, which means that we would be stuck with Trudeau possibly running for re-election with the Liberals, which would give people exactly what they don't want, which is to have him maybe even come back into office again. It's just... well, anyway, cheers, it's Friday.
And I'm watching the papers blow away, and I'm thinking, oh, there goes your speech. Why don't you follow them? Go get them. Like, leave.
Well...
Oh, man. I don't. You can't make anybody happy. I would just have wished he would have been a man. Oh, but he's not.
Well, you know, it's like today, I see that Carney, Mark Carney, was being sort of, heckled and even chased down. And so it's starting with him already, too. It's like once Trudeau is gone, then we just get to hate the next Liberal. That's the way it works, man. So...
Yeah, but I can't see any one of those three. Like Carney and Freeland and Gould. Oh my God, Gould. Oh, every time I listen to her in Parliament, it's like, my God, I'd hate for you to yell fire. I don't think you have any gumption, because you just stand there and you talk so quietly. I'm like, oh my God, she wants to be Prime Minister? Like, really?
Yeah, Gould doesn't seem to have the charisma or the presence to be Prime Minister.
No, there's no gumption. There's no, what do you call it? Like boisterous
energy. As Donald Trump would say, very low energy. Very low energy.
Yeah. Well, she looks like a wet noodle. I mean, even when I hear her in Parliament, I'm like, oh my God, she's going to talk again. Oh, here we go. At least Pierre can raise his voice. But I don't know. Gould, no. I can't think of her being in anything.
Well, the thing about this upcoming election is that things have changed already. And it's not going to be a carbon tax election. It's going to be a Canadian sovereignty election because of Donald Trump, I suspect. Because that's the issue that's front and center right now. It's not the carbon tax, it's whether Canada gets to survive as a country. That's what it will be fought on, and that's going to change everything. So don't count the Liberals out, because this is coming like a freight train straight down the track right at us, and there's no escaping this. So this is going to be the issue, and it could turn everything upside down. Depends on how it's framed, who's leading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's totally becoming a fight for our sovereignty, for us to stand together. The carbon tax election thing he's got washed to the side because this is taking priority. But then you got somebody like Fancy Sock who acts more feminine when he's sitting in front of any other politician, that it drives me crazy. I mean, I don't see anything masculine about him. I never did. And so maybe I'm, what am I then? An antagonistic person? I don't know, but I like a guy to be a guy. Like my husband looked like Manson on his hunting license. He really did. He had the beard and the steely eye. He people were afraid of him, yet he was the biggest teddy bear ever going. But to me, you want somebody who has the masculinity and the strength that looks like they're going to fight for the country and portrays that in their actions, and Trudeau never has.
Well, he was pretty popular with the ladies when he was first elected, when during his honeymoon period. I mean, politically, right? Not his honeymoon with his wife, who's kind of his estranged wife, Sophie. But you know, the women would just swoon over Trudeau and his hair, and oh yeah. So you know, he's got that certain allure for some women, I guess.
The same thing happened with his father, Pierre. And people would swoon over him, and I was a teenager, and I thought, that's a freaking nightmare. Like, he came across as like he belonged in, you know, some horror movie. Just his features, and I used to think, my God, can you imagine waking up to that in the morning? Holy Moses. No thanks. And I was 16, 17 at the time, and I couldn't see the attraction.
Trudeau mania, man. It was a thing back in the 60s, you know. Trudeau mania. Remember? Do you remember Trudeau mania?
Oh yeah, I remember Trudeau mania.
Yeah.
And they had a picture of him with, where was he? He was someplace, and he had this rose in his mouth.
I kind of remember that. Yeah.
They had a picture of him, and I thought, oh my God.
Yeah.
Really? No. But I thought I'm standing up for Canada. I don't want to be the 51 state. I got friends down there, but hey, you can't have everything, Trump.
No, and people, you know, I hear people saying things like, well, you're crazy, dollar for dollar tariffs, are you insane? Well, you know what? They don't, honestly, some of these people chiming in on this, I think they're clueless. It isn't about Canada hurting the United States. It isn't about winning a war with the United States. You know what it's about? It's about surviving this. That's all it's about. And so Canada will take steps. We will take steps to do whatever we have to do to survive. And I hope that people love the country enough that we fight for it and we fight through this and we come together as a real country in the face of this adversity, which is unfair, uncalled for. I've lost so much respect and faith and trust in Trump. I'm pissed at the guy because we're the United States' best friend, and he's treating us like this. This is wrong. And so, regardless of political stripe, I'm standing with anybody that wants to stand on guard for the for the country. So that's it for me. And that means,
look at it. I mean, if they can stand strong for their country, why can't we be equal and say, okay, we can stand strong for our country. Yeah. America can be strong, and we can be strong, and we can still get along.
And you know what? I went to the hardware store today. I went to Home Hardware, Canadian company. I was down there. I had to buy some plastic wood. I'm doing some stuff and fixing some stuff in my washroom here. And I picked up this epoxy plastic wood product, and I flipped it around, and I was just looking to see what it would do and if it was going to meet my needs. And it had a Made in U.S.A. label on it and a flag. And you know what I did? I put it back. Yeah, I made sure I bought something that was made in Canada.
Yeah.
So I didn't buy it.
You know what? I watch Fox, okay, with the one she had on tonight with Hannity and all them, that channel Fox. And what I watch is they have right-wing companies. And the right-wing companies now are pulling away from the woke, right?
Yep.
So you want to support the right-wing companies, you want to support your country, support these products. So why can't we have the same? Why can't we have entrepreneurs here who are going to say, made in Canada, by Canadians, and we can pull together. They actually have a card down there now that if you swipe this card, the credits that you achieve on this card goes to the veterans. Why can't we have that?
I suppose we could.
And it's a points card.
Yeah, somebody could set up a point system to do something like that. You know, the other thing, you know what Trudeau made a mistake on though, is he was talking about buy Canadian, just like I was just talking about it. But then he mentioned Heinz ketchup as being a product to not buy because he was referring to the Leamington processing plant, which was for as long as I could ever remember a Heinz processing plant where they made Heinz ketchup and other tomato products from the tomato capital of Canada, Leamington. And then it was, how many years ago now, 10 or something like that, they had union issues and cost issues, and they ceased production in Leamington, moved to the States, moved all the production to the States, and now they make French's ketchup there, right? So Trudeau cited that as an example of like, don't buy Heinz ketchup, buy French's ketchup, but he got it wrong. You know why? Because the Heinz was only pulled their ketchup production out of Canada for about 5 years, and then they reestablished production up in Montreal. But Trudeau wasn't aware or had forgotten, so he misspoke on it, and now he's being held to account on that. And I guess rightly so when you're the prime minister and you're going to criticize a major company and a major employer, and still today the largest buyer and processor of tomatoes in Canada. It's just that they do it in Montreal now, but they still make, I think, French's ketchup out of Leamington. And for a while I was buying French's ketchup even for that reason, because the company pulled out of Canada for a while. So yeah. But
and I noticed this and I thought, well, that's a great idea, because you've got all these, you get the PC card, you've got the Steam card, and I don't go into all these because it's just a pain. But anyway, they have this one card, and I forget, is it called Freedom Card or something like that?
Oh, yeah.
But everything that they purchase with this goes to the vets. So all that's collected and it goes to the vets.
So like you get the points, so you get points, and then the points are given to veterans?
The veterans, yeah.
I see.
Which is a damn good idea, because really you don't get a lot for the points. I mean, when they brought this system out, everybody thought, yay, it's great. What do you get, a half a penny? 2 pennies? But if everybody did that and it went into like an allotment, it goes to the vets, because our vets don't get shit. I mean, literally, because my brother is a vet.
Yeah.
They don't get nothing. And he doesn't care. Trudeau doesn't give a shit.
Tinfoil Hat wants to know if I like pretzels or Cheerios. I don't know why he's asking the question, but the answer is Cheerios. I don't like pretzels at all. I find them too salty. Whatever that's got to do with anything, I don't know, but you go ahead. You ask me the tough questions in the chat, guys, and you hold me to account tonight.
Pretzels or Cheerios? There's no, one is a snack and one is, well, okay, you could say Cheerios a snack, I guess.
Yeah.
Throw it in the oven.
And Raylex is saying Canada needs to find new customers and open up the pipelines, and I agree with that. Yes, we do.
Yep. I think we need more, because I hear it all the time from this other news channel, the Patriots, the Patriots, Patriots. Where's our Patriots? Where's our Patriots?
Good question.
There somewhere.
Yeah, where are the Patriots? You know, I'm a Patriot. I believe I'm fighting for Canada. Oh, join the United States, tax break, I'm in. Yeah, screw Canada. That didn't take much.
I know out here we get a lot of push for buying directly for the farmers. And I buy from the abattoir.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't, if my dogs won't eat the hamburger from the grocery store, I ain't going to eat it. And my dogs won't eat it.
Oh, really?
No.
Your dogs won't eat it?
The dogs won't eat it.
That's pretty bad.
They're like, I mean, they don't get a lot now because my older one was sick for a while. So you can't have that. I was bad. I was feeding him human food. But anyway, I gave him a little bit the other day, mixed in with his food to coax him to eat this special food that he thought he wouldn't touch it. I had to throw the bowl of dog food along with the hamburger in the garbage. And it was only like a half a teaspoonful I put in his food to encourage him because he had kidney stones, a bladder stone, and a liver infection. He made it through. He's a strong little chihuahua, but yeah, he wouldn't eat it. And I thought, if they're not going to eat, I'm not going to eat it then. And it was supposed to be lean hamburger.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought, but when I buy from the abattoir, it's a darker color than what's at the grocery store. Is this bright pink stuff? So I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not buying it there anymore. So I buy from the abattoir.
Listen, I gotta jump off and take a break here, Isabel. So I'm gonna cut the call short here a little bit. Although we've been on, over half an hour with you, actually. That's awesome. I didn't realize it had been that long, but I do need to take a little break here. So I'll jump off, and I look forward to the next call.
Okie dokie. You have a great night, Rick.
You too. Thanks. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, and I'll be right back, folks, after this.
Greetings, brave Mavericks. Our quest for truth continues. We go beyond fake news. Together we expose propaganda. Together we pull others out of rabbit holes. We are maverick thinkers. We are all unique individuals, defenders of individual rights and freedoms, credible, trusted, grounded in reality. Maverick News, Maverick News. Defending free speech, Donate at freedomreporters.com. Do it now. Tomorrow may be too late. Maverick News. The world is watching.
Okay, Mavericks, it's call-in time. Join the conversation. Call now, 1-519-401-1373. One 519-401-1373. Exercise your right to free speech. That's 1-519-401-1373. That's 1-519-401-1373. Maverick News. Call now. The world is watching and listening to you. Okay, and we have our next caller on the line. It's Raphael. Welcome back, sir. What's on your mind?
Rick, happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you, too.
I just want to know, you know that Dr. Fauci has a full preemptive pardon, that he cannot be charged of anything?
Yes, I know.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, because they're not gonna, Trump is not gonna be able to charge him of anything, because Biden makes sure he took care of him and the general. My thing is, and probably you might be able to explain it to me. Trump is about to make a big mistake. Like when I was in the military, in the Marines, one of the things they always emphasize is when you are in charge, an officer, you never want to be in a situation where everybody thinks you are a clown. Because once that happens, everything you say is not going to mean anything, and people just going to ignore you, and that's not a good position to be. And Trump is becoming a clown. Is becoming an imbecile. And when that happens, it's a very bad position to be. He was already that. But yesterday in NATO, yes, the message, not NATO, in Davos, the message makes sense, but the delivery was really bad. And dealing with Putin, your data, they are bad. They're not accurate. And everything. I mean, this man is really and not only Trudeau came out strong. Think about how strong the Danish Prime Minister. That phone call didn't go well. That woman stood her ground and she told Trump, Greenland is not for sale.
Right.
Forget about it. That's one. Think about today what happened. The president of Mexico, Trump, didn't follow protocol, but grabbed a military airplane full of Mexicans and sent them to Mexico. She did not accept them, and she made that airplane return to the United States. Guatemala told him yesterday, we are not accepting any of these people. I want people to understand, the world is, this is a time for nonsense. It's not going to fly. And he's becoming a clown. And if you look at Trudeau today talking, Trudeau, I've never seen him like that. That means the British part is coming out. The old Canadian is coming back. I mean, for some reason. I mean, today it wasn't like a kid talking. It was a man talking today.
Yeah.
And he wasn't playing around with Trump. And I believe, like, Canada, there is a movement that is taking place because once you are a clown, people do not tolerate clown, stupid imbeciles, and it's becoming like this. So I'm gonna go and listen to you if you want to, if I say something wrong or if you want to.
Well, I think you've kind of said it all, and I think Trump is overplaying his hand. I think that he's miscalculating. I think he's gonna screw around and find out because he's pissing off the whole world on all sides, including his friends. Bad move, I think.
And one last thing is, Megan, the CIA, the KGB, what those people use, any kind of leader, if you're psychological, they got a psych evaluation where they make a decision based upon your psychological profile, and they psychoanalyze you. And Trump is risking to, if the Russians come to the conclusion that this man is a moron, they're gonna lead him to, they're gonna come out with stuff that's gonna make him make that decision. And it just happened that we all are standing here and we is Trump. Yes, for us, it's goofball Trump. But humanity, when the world is at play, these people are not gonna play with a goofball. Everybody gonna team up together. You will be surprised when Trudeau told him last week that we can talk to Russia
and Raphael, I got to jump off. I've got another call coming in, and I have to take it because I can't put them on hold. Thank you, sir, for the call. Okay, talk to you next time. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hello, Rick. How are you tonight?
I am fine, Chris. How are you? Long time no talk to.
Yeah, long time no talk. I'm just going to chime in about the health care here.
Yep.
Alberta is putting in this thing, I guess, for the doctors if they want to go along with it, that they can decide who they want for patients and can triage the ones that they don't want. And, basically you're shutting the door on, I don't care if you're healthy or not, people still need to have a doctor, right?
Yeah.
So if you're really, really sick, they might decide to keep you on, they may not. And here's a good example of that. So my son, who has been sick for this is going on the 5th year, he cannot find answers. They have found out that he's blacking out now, his blood is low, and he's still very dizzy. But every time he goes to a doctor, they're pushing him out the door. And of course, he's 42, and now he's applied for maids because it's just getting worse. He's got no quality of life much. He can't travel or do much. And I'm thinking, this is like so wrong. So wrong. He needs help so bad, and yet every doctor just keeps pushing him away. It's like they don't care. Mm-hmm. It's like, go ahead, take your maids. We don't care. I have issues with that. Mm-hmm. I really do. It's just, they can't be doing that. You can't, all doctors are supposed to, don't doctors take an oath to look after everybody? Isn't that?
Well, yeah, but Chris, it's the issue is they have a shortage of physicians, and a physician can only see so many people in a day. And the way that most systems are set up in most provinces, they get essentially 15-minute appointments, right? And unless there's something more elaborate that is needed or more extensive. So, how many people can you squeeze into 15-minute appointments? And a doctor, works how many hours a day? So, and a lot of doctors get burned out in some places because they're overwhelmed with patients. So how many patients can a doctor really have on their roster, right?
Right. Oh, no, I do agree. We need more doctors. There's a doctor shortage. I'm not going to say there isn't.
That's the issue. Doctor shortage.
But I'm just saying that the doctors that he has gone to see don't seem to care. And that's, to me, they've taken the oath to look after somebody, but yet you don't really want to investigate to see what's causing this. People don't get sick like this for no reason, right? Like that's kind of what I'm saying. Like it seems to me like MAID is being pushed on. Oh well, you're really sick. Take MAID. Goodbye. Like I have an issue with that. And as you know from previous.
Well, this has been going on for a long time with your son, right? So how long has he been ill and not and how long has this been going on where they haven't been able to tell what it is?
He's been sick this will be going on the 5th year.
5 years.
Yeah, and he is like so busy. When he gets up in the morning, it takes him quite a while before he can actually get moving about. He can really only go outside for a little bit. To travel anywhere, unless it's within a half an hour, he can't travel any further than that because he gets really, really violently ill. He'll black out in his kitchen for no reason. In fact, last time he blacked out, his heart actually stopped for 10 seconds because his girlfriend was there. But he lives kind of out of town, so by the time the ambulance would have got there, and that's another thing. Every time he goes to the emerge, we can see your blood's low, so go see your doctor. But then he goes to see the doctor, and the doctor pushes him back out the door again. So
what doctors does he go see? His family physician?
Yeah.
And does the family physician not refer him to some specialists?
No, they won't. They did an MRI.
Yeah.
And they said that he did have a lesion on his brain, but they didn't think it was too serious. But he needs to see a neurologist. But you have to be referred by your family doctor. And they're saying to him, we're not going to send you to that because we don't see anything wrong with basically your head that's causing this. But obviously it is. Something is off balance somewhere. Something's not functioning properly.
Have you tried to get a different family physician?
Yeah, he actually has gone to a couple of other walk-in clinics.
But you can't. Are busy. Yeah.
It's hard to find a doctor out here in Alberta. It's really, there's a lot of people without doctors, we have a big crisis of, I think it's all across Canada that there's a shortage of doctors, but it's just getting to the point that I'm frustrated with healthcare because he's only 42 years of age. This can be dealt with, right? Something's causing it, But it's just like the doctors I just don't know. I told them, I said, why don't you go on the news? Get the news to come and do a story. Because I said, maybe a doctor out there will hear that story and he'll reach out to you. Maybe you have to go that route.
I think you just need to. I think you need to find a good family doctor.
Yeah, well, that too, right? And I have right now there's a family friend of ours. She's 32 years of age. She's got diabetes, and she's been in and out of the hospital the last year with this ulcer on her leg, on her left leg. Mm-hmm. And this time it got really bad, and she's been in the hospital for a week. They have found out now that it's actually cancerous, and it's growing into the bone in her leg, so she can't have it operated on to have removed. So tomorrow they're taking her from her lower knee off. They're amputating. And she's 32 with a 3-year-old son.
Why are they amputating her half her leg?
Because she's got cancer that has wrapped itself all around the bones inside, and they can't take the cancer out. That's what they're telling her. And so they said it's just better we'll just amputate the leg. So, I mean, I feel very sorry for her. I'm praying the best for her. But, yeah, it just goes to show you that, you know, healthcare, it's iffy these days. You know, some people get lucky and have really great doctors, and others just can't get any help, and some have no doctors at all. And I mean, you see, where was it, Walkerton, Ontario, where all those people were lined up outside, and it was like a lottery. As being the first 500, you might get a doctor. I mean, I've never ever seen that in Canada.
I have. Yeah.
Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's crazy.
There's a doctor shortage. There has been for quite a while. And I think back in time, and in Ontario, the problem really came to a head during the time of David Peterson when he was the premier of Ontario, Liberal. I remember the election he fought. He wanted to cap doctors' wages. And, of course, people who were kind of left-leaning or left-thinking in their political ideology, people cheered for it. It was a very popular thing because they said, yes, get those rich doctors, screw those rich doctors, cap their wages, power to the people, right? Well, he capped those, he got elected, got a majority if I recall, he capped the wages, but then you know what happened after that? A lot of those doctors left the country. They went to the States.
Oh, I remember that.
And we've never, because they were like, I'm out of here. I'm overworked as it is, and I'm going to go to the States. I'll have to deal with fewer patients. I'm going to make a lot more money, and I won't have to deal with the winters. So they went south. Ontario's never recovered from that. They started then trying to, bring doctors in from other countries. They've tried to do things with medical schools to fill the gap, but it's never been the same since then. And they've adjusted wages a bit for doctors since then, but they've addressed a bunch of other problems. I will say though, again here in Ontario, in this province, not Alberta, major improvements just within the last couple years. The government here has, they were heavily criticized by the NDP and the Liberals because they've kind of come up with they've privatized a little bit of stuff for testing services and some things like that to get more efficiency out of the system. And they've also started to use nurse practitioners to provide supports for doctors so that it frees doctors up to concentrate on the major tasks instead of visiting each patient by bed and stuff like that all the time. A lot of different things. And I can't even speak to all the things they've done. But what I can say is during my last visit to emergency, it was very obvious that they'd made some really major changes in a really positive way. And for that, I'm very grateful because going to emergency before, you'd sit there for like 12, 14 hours. And now I was in and out in, I was in and out in I was into see. It doesn't matter. I was just in and out very quickly, and not like 12, 13 hours. I was in the afternoon and out of there after tests and everything. They gave me an MRI the same day I was in there.
Oh wow!
Normally you have to wait like months, right? No, I need. They were worried, concerned. Bam! They just put me right in.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad you got the care. That's good. So our hospital out here, in the little town here, it's been closing.
Yeah.
Quite a bit at 5 o'clock at night, our emergency, not opening till 8 o'clock the next day, and it went on for a whole week. And we have like Stars ambulance, like the helicopter that lands here and transfers patients and picks up, right? So what was happening is, the nurses are there, and they can kind of triage you, but then what they're doing is they're sending you to the bigger cities an hour and a half away because they can't really treat you. And so there's been a lot of backlash going on with that because we have doctors in our town, but they don't want to all take their shifts. So they're bringing in other doctors, which obviously have other hospitals they have to be in. So it's just a never-ending cycle here. Something needs done. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the call, Chris. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome, Rick. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Okay, see you. Bye. And you can call in at 1-519-401-1373. What else is going on today? Oh, yeah. Trump has revoked security for John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, and I think some others as well. This is a thing, like, you might not like these guys. I think this is a big mistake. I don't know what it was exactly that Mike Pompeo might have done to upset Trump, but something about the guy he doesn't like. So he's left them high and dry on security. And these guys, the Iranians, they've got basically a bounty out on their heads. I don't agree with this at all. Again, this is pretty nasty stuff. He's putting these guys at risk, even if he doesn't like them, knowing that they could be targeted, that they are being targeted. I don't think it's a wise thing to do. It could come back to haunt him. Here's Bolton on CNN talking about it.
President Trump himself, he after all, ordered the operation. He had to give final approval, which he did.
Talking about the hit on Soleimani.
So in my case, the Secret Service was renewed about every 6 months by President Biden based on a continuing evaluation of the threat and the conclusion that the threat level remained sufficient to warrant the protection. And I was told as recently as Friday and Saturday before the inauguration day that the threat level remained the same. So if the threat level changed, I'd be delighted if that conclusion came true and the protection disappeared. Look, it's up to President Trump. It's his decision. It's just the wrong decision, and it's based, I think, on the fact that he knows very well and doesn't like that I criticize him and that he's had disagreements with Mike Pompeo. It's just that simple.
So you've been given no indication that the threats against you have decreased?
That's correct. And I may say when President Biden made the decisions again, and I can't speak for the others, but in my case on the Secret Service, I can't believe he was delighted with the fact I routinely criticized almost every national security decision he made. And his advisors felt the same way. But what they did, and I give them credit for it, and I'm not embarrassed to do so, they put what they thought was the national interest first above politics, that these were former officials who had been carrying out their official duties, and a foreign power, a hostile terrorist state, was threatening for that very reason. It's unacceptable to allow that to happen.
Do you fear more for your life now than you did last Thursday, last Friday?
Well, measures are in place, and I hope the answer to that is no. But it depends on the continuing events. If the President of the United States, in effect, is inviting terrorist attack, I don't think anybody can predict what the outcome is going to be.
Do you think Trump would share partial responsibility if something were to happen?
Sure. If he had left the protection in place, he would have done exactly what President Biden did, and you can only try. You can't guarantee anything. I mean, I think it must be pretty chilling to Marco Rubio that virtually the first thing he had to do as Secretary of State is remove the protection of diplomatic security, which now guards Marco Rubio, from one of his predecessors. What does that say to people in government about what can happen when a subsequent president who dislikes criticism comes into office?
Yeah. What goes around comes around. No president stays in office forever, or a Secretary of State, or any of these guys. Be careful what you do. You reap what you sow. Yeah, I think it's a mistake for him to pull security for those guys. Well, that's my opinion. What's yours? What do you guys think? You want to comment in the chat? You want to call in at 1-519-401-1373? And Bond says, well, Trump is treating them somewhat maybe the way they treated him. I don't recall Mike Pompeo treating Trump very badly. In fact, I remember, as I recall, Pompeo was, at least it appeared, that he was very supportive of Trump when he was working with him. I think he's picking a fight with the wrong guy. Former CIA director, a guy who stood by Trump for quite a while. I don't think that's the right move at all. You should be very careful about that, in my opinion. What else we got going on? Oh, here's that situation with Liberal leadership contender Mark Carney, who was kind of scrummed and, I would say, aggressively questioned. But he's he's not really like a politician. He claims to be sort of an outsider, but he's a political animal and is a liberal, former Bank of Canada governor, former governor of the Bank of England. And I'll say this, Liz Truss, I guess, was questioned by Keenan Bexty and said that Carney bankrupted, was almost bankrupted the UK. That's not true. They're not bankrupt. Who's on the line tonight?
Hello, it's Kitty. How you doing?
Well, I'm fine. How are you? Hang on a sec. I need to run this clip of Mark Carney.
Oh, God, yes.
Here he is. This scrum. Here we go. Let's roll. Here he is.
You say you're the outsider, but it looks like the party establishment is lining up behind you.
C'est une question it's the issue of deputies, elected members, ministers, others, liberals across the country who are making a choice and are making a choice about the importance of the economy, the importance of coming together, building together. That's a free choice. This is the Liberal Party. We believe in freedom and we believe in good judgment, and thus far, Liberals are showing.
So, yeah, being, is he the outsider? Not really the outsider. He's political establishment, liberal establishment for sure. Anyway, what's on your mind tonight, Kitty?
Oh, I was just thinking that poor woman that called in. Thereabout by the grace of God go us. Mm-hmm. Collectively, all of us. Like, I was sitting here, and of course, logically, we all know, we all have our own stuff we deal with, but I was sitting here thinking, wow, and I think I got problems. We don't, but no, as far as Trump goes, that man's really starting to get my nerves.
Yeah.
It's, he's, I don't know if you can envision the raging bull in the China shop. I could be wrong, but it just smacks of vengeance.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the things that is making this version of Trump 2.0, very much darker than the original incarnation. I don't like this, and I said this earlier today in a text messaging session with someone. I said, "Seek not vengeance, saith the Lord." This is not the way forward, Mr. Trump. Revenge, vengeance. This is nope. It's not right. As much as people have been hammering on that bishop who is asking him, pleading with him to be compassionate and merciful, that's the way forward. You might not agree with the bishop's politics. The bishop might be progressive, but it's still a very wise message, especially for someone who may well be the most powerful man in the world. Compassion and mercy.
I really do think that, they could go after him in his first term, but it's almost like he came back thinking, I'm going to get everybody for what they did to me. And he's just, going boom, 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 basically, just to Canada is one of the targets. I really did think it was a joke, but I don't think it is anymore. I think in his brain, for whatever reason, we're a target. Yes, I know we're in this mess because of Trudeau, but I don't believe that we want this behavior, what he's doing, and what he's saying, and withdrawing security, and going to buy, was it Greenland or Iceland or something, and it's almost like, because he can't run after this again.
Actually, somebody's putting forward a proposal to give Trump an additional 4 years. I saw the proposed changes overnight, and I don't know how much traction it will get. I'm opposed. I don't think that it's wise to make this change. And the way it was worded, it was like, well, Trump, is making all these changes and he needs an additional 4 years. I don't know how real this whole thing is, but no, he gets it. He had his first 4. He was interrupted. Now he's supposed to get 4 more. Then that's supposed to be it. Those are the rules. They were put in place a long time ago for a reason, and I think that that's the way it should stay. That the danger here is, it sets a precedent, and then I don't know where that leaves the United States after that. I don't know. What do you think? Should they allow him to run again for an additional 4?
No, because I see, we just said you don't know where it leaves them. Well, look at Canada.
Yeah.
For 10 years. I think Canada should have term limits.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea, probably. I kind of like longer terms, honestly, because I think it can provide an environment for longer term planning for a country. But I think that there should be some term limits imposed, so you just don't get somebody in there for life, right?
I think maybe with the case of the Liberals, it's a case of well, what's that saying? There's got to be a law. There's got to be something obviously put in place so that any party, there's got to be a mechanism to remove the Prime Minister of Canada under X circumstances. There has to be.
Yeah, but the thing about Canada, and this is also, I like our system better, the Prime Minister does not have anywhere near the kind of power that a president in a republic like the United States has. Look at what has happened just this week. Trump comes into office. He gets elected. On his very first day, he signs how many executive orders?
Was it 140 or something?
No, it was close to 200. 200. Now, that is, in my view, ridiculous, and that is in itself an insult to democracy. Because that's a record. No president has ever done that before. No president. Biden, in the entire time he was in office, signed, I think it was 140 or 160 over the course of his entire presidency. When Biden came in his first day, he signed 9, and he was criticized for it. Trump comes in and signs 200, and a lot of them appear to be unconstitutional. So it sets off a storm of litigation that will go on for years. This is ridiculous. That's not democracy. So I very much favor the Canadian system. The Prime Minister, when it comes time to vote on legislation, the Prime Minister gets one vote like everybody else in Parliament. Very much like a city council and a mayor, right? In our system.
It has its good points, but my concern is, like, here we are, like Trudeau says he intends. Okay, that's not a resignation.
But even that's not unprecedented, though, Kitty, because other leaders have done that in the past. I think there have been at least 3, maybe 4 other occasions in Canadian history where a scenario very similar to this has unfolded. And even when a leader has been elected or selected, whatever you want to look at it, within a party, very shortly after, if that person became the Prime Minister, there was an election held very shortly after. Conservatives did that with Kim Campbell, who became the first female Prime Minister, right? But Campbell then went to election very shortly thereafter, and it wasn't elected. The Conservatives lost that election, so she was no longer Prime Minister.
No offense to her, but I mean, she wouldn't have won. Nothing wrong with her. She just didn't. I think that's why they put her in that place.
It was just the timing, right, and the way things were at the time, and so the Conservatives didn't prevail. So she wasn't Prime Minister at the end of the election. But the point is, our system, I think it is actually better. People can argue back and forth and this and that and blah, 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 and, talk about how, that we don't really have a country and it's just a corporation, or that it's all controlled by the British Crown and the King. And most of those criticisms are not really accurate at all. And the reality is, even the King, even in Britain, has limited power in what he can do as the King, because it's a constitutional monarchy. It isn't like an absolute monarchy where the King reigns supreme. No, even the King has to follow the rules of the Constitution.
Like all he does is he welcomes the new Prime Minister and whatnot, and they have their little signing ceremony, and they go for lunch, and I think it is. I think is it the monarchy, the king or queen, whatever is applicable, that writes the speech, the opening the House speech.
The throne?
Yeah,
speech?
The throne speech.
No, the Prime Minister. Well, it really comes from the government, right?
Oh,
so.
Okay. Oh, that's right. The government writes it, and the king or queen reads it.
So it's just just overall, our system just limits the power more of a prime minister and even a government, much more so than in the States. What I witnessed down there with Trump, that's very authoritarian. That's like, I'm the president now. I'm coming in. Screw all this. I'm undoing everything that the previous guy did, and this is all the stuff we're doing now on day one. And then it's like 200 executive orders. That's all coming from one guy. There's no debate. There's no pushback, from Congress. Nothing in the Senate. It's, there's no parliamentary system where, you've got to go through a checks and balances exercise. None of that. It's just one guy with a Sharpie. And then he turns it into a show, and he's throwing the Sharpies into the audience. He literally turned it into a show. And to me, that wasn't a show of democracy. That was a show of authoritarianism, which is part of kind of a democratic process. But just because you vote for the guy, I don't think you should give any politician full reign to just do whatever the hell they want. And that's what he's doing. I don't like.
I'm sure Canadians can sit here and go, how would we feel if Trudeau did that?
Yeah. How would you feel if Trudeau did that? Exactly. We wouldn't like it at all. And that's what people are very afraid of. I hear people saying, he's prorogued government. He's the only politician with power now. And no, that's not really true. That's not true at all. The system, in prorogation, it doesn't just give Trudeau dictatorial powers to do anything you want. That's not true. I hear so much crap, but You know, people love to whine and complain and fear the worst and live in a state of panic. They feed off it and negative information. People want me to just scare the crap out of them. To be honest with you, Kitty, they really.
Well, if they want to be scared, I gotta tell you, Trudeau, I think, over the, and believe you me, I'm not. He really has put Canada in serious. We're in serious friggin' trouble here.
Mm-hmm.
We are in such trouble that, like, I gave up trying to explain to a friend of mine. She goes, well, I still like the Liberals. I said, okay. She goes, you want to do lunch next week? And I said, no. Like, I'm just done, you know. I think Trudeau's done so much. He's constantly kept us off balance. I think everyone's got post-traumatic stress friggin' disorder. That we don't know what way is up. And a lot of people give up, and I think a lot of people, which quite honestly I quite understand because I've been grappling with this as well, it's like, how do we deal with this? Like, Canada has never dealt with a prime minister like this that wants to have immigrants, that doesn't care. They're more focused on a friggin' election for a new leader than they are about the freight tariffs, and I'm sitting here talking to myself before Sean, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm like, hello? I think a trade issue is more important than picking a friggin' leader. Like, I'm as far as Canada goes, I'm like, I'm like, whatever. It's gonna come out in the wash. I'm beyond the point of trying. Like, I'm so tired of Trudeau. I'm so tired of Canadian crap. I'm so tired of the hate, Rick. I'm so tired of the division. It's like there's absolutely nothing, nobody that's not divided. This against that, east against west. Oil versus climate change, man against woman, woke against unwoke, vax versus unvax. Like you just name it. Like, I'm so tired of it. My
Me
main
too.
worry now is the States. I'm really worried about that because, like, Canada, what kind of protection do we have, Rick? Well, I'll tell you. I got a T-shirt in my cover. Do you have one? That's about the state of our protection in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
We got woke kids walking around. They wouldn't go into the military unless they were allowed to wear the nose rings and have purple hair, and they don't have to have it properly done to the collar anymore. I did my basic training in Cornwallis, by the way, so I know what I speak. And it's like, oh my God, like, I'm really worried about the States because that's how I thought of it today. I thought, wow, how would I feel if Trudeau did this? And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, different perspective, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really concerned with what's going on because he's like a rampaging bull. It's almost like he's determined to leave such a permanent mark that it's going to be the States that's going to be in 4 years where we are now. Am I imagining things?
No, you're not. What Trump is doing right now is it's going to damage the U.S. in incredible ways. It's boggling my mind what he's doing. These tariffs, targeted tariffs, you can get the result you want. You can bring manufacturing in a particular industry or whatever. But this across the board 25% tariff threat, blah 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 blah. First of all, it's undermining trust with allies. So who's like what are we doing right now? We're talking about diversifying our customer base, getting away from the United States. We're not going to trade with them as much ever again. We're going to start trading with the rest of the world more to reduce our dependence on the United States now and forever, which means less for the U.S. That's not good for the United States in the long run. So right there, it shows you that's bad for them. We'll survive. Even if the United States just decided to close their border and cut Canada off, like, we're resilient people. We are resourceful. We would, if I were a leader, I would be like, okay, fine. We'll just figure it out. We'll become self-sufficient. We have everything we need right here. We'll bring more manufacturing here. We'll set up more manufacturing. Hell, man, when people first came to this country from Europe, we chopped down trees, built houses, and got to work building a country. And here it is today,
in
right?
fact, my grandparents even had a victory garden.
Yeah, so like, fine, Donald Trump, do whatever you want to do, but we will survive. And that's the point. It's like we will do whatever we have to do to survive. No, I've been to some other countries that are poor, right? Just traveling. And when I've been there, I'm looking around and I'm like, I can't understand or figure out. Like, I've been to Cuba and Jamaica and some beautiful places there, but not really countries that have fully realized their potential. Because as I'm down there and I'm looking around and I see people living life that, maybe they could be a lot more prosperous. I'm like, why hasn't this country just done more for themselves and developed what they have here more, But we would open up trade. We'd do more with Asia, more with Europe, from both the East and the West. I'm sure we'd get those pipelines built. We have all the energy we need here anyway. Even if the whole world cuts us off, we'll survive. We just have to just shift and change and do what we have to do. Now today, I'm seeing that those Canada is not for sale hats that Doug Ford made famous. The guy or the company or whatever it is that was producing those and selling them, they want them made in Canada, and they're having a tough time sourcing them. And that's why they're like $45, right? If you want to buy one, but they're made in Canada. But Canada's textile industry really took a hit. It kind of died back in, I think probably, correct me if I'm wrong, like the 70s, because the cost of producing clothing in this country and furniture, things like that as well. But textiles, that went the way of the dodo bird a long time ago. And
wasn't it Del Monte that left about 12, 14 years ago?
Del Monte?
I can't, maybe that's not the right company name, but it was the last fruit canning company.
No, we've got canning companies here. There's one just up the street here in Dresden that they process vegetables and tomatoes up there. We were just talking about Heinz in Montreal. They used to be in Leamington, and French's produces all kinds of tomato products down there and so on. You have tomato soups, ketchup, stuff like that. So, no, they're still canning. There's lots of food processing that goes on in Canada.
Well, I'll tell you, we got to not only bring back more, we got to, the one thing that, because Canadians have been in history so nice, we used to joke about it. Well, you see, that was our vulnerability, and Trudeau used it against us, because when you are nice, you're vulnerable to divide and conquer. Not only do we need to bring stuff back to Canada, we got to have Canadians sit there and go, okay, you can't just sit in your ass and have everybody do everything for you all the time. You got to do it for yourself. Like all my life, wherever I lived, even if it was just in the kitchen with a couple of pots, I've always had something growing. Plants and food, like I've always had something growing. And
well, the issues with domestic production and manufacturing, that's not just exclusive to Trudeau. That's something that has been a problem for many, many decades. That's international competition, freedom of commerce, allowing companies to offshore some production, importation issues, just all of these things, right? And that's where tariffs also come into play, and that's just being even highlighted here right now about this this whole Canada is not for sale hat issue. And I see that we have tinfoil hat saying it's actually these hats are not being made in Canada. I guess tinfoil hat is saying that they couldn't get them made here, so they've had to settle on a Chinese made hat, which is not surprising to me at all. That the embroidery is done here, that's very common. Like even the shirts that we have here, right? Like I think they're all imported, everything that we've had, because that's all that's available. But I do get all the screen printing and the embroidery done locally right here by a small company, a small guy. who
Oh yeah,
doesn't
but you know what I mean? Like when I was mentioning the gardening, I mean people that can, because of the cost of food, it's like, you know what, grow it yourself. Like, even if it's just a few herbs that you would normally buy.
You know what? I'm not even sure that that's. I'm not like. I guess if the food supply was like permanently cut off, yeah, it would be okay to grow your own stuff. But I'm of the mind that people overthink these things. Because if you need food security, if the objective is to prepare for disaster, and you want a supply of food for a set period of time, say a month, wouldn't it make more sense, and it would be far more economical to just stock up on canned goods than go to all the work of growing a garden and doing all that and then hoping that you're good at it? And it's just nothing. I'm not nothing against having a garden. I'm just like, if I'm just stockpiling food, wouldn't it just make more sense to go and buy stuff and you could just over time, and I do keep some stuff in stock here, but just buy stuff on sale, put it aside. When it's on sale, grab extra cans of this and put it in your rainy day stash.
Hey, Rick,
and
I
keep
grow
building
the
it up.
best potatoes, tomatoes, and green onions you ever did have in your life, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'm basically, I'm really worried about what Trump's doing because, like, it's out of control now. It's like, okay, this is like way not funny anymore.
It's not. It never was a joke. I've been telling people, Kitty, and maybe you recall, I've been saying this for like 2 years. 2 years. When these other influencers, I was like, this is a trial balloon. They're normalizing this talk. They're setting us up for this. This is a plan. Canada's in play. You can go back and find it. They're still online. You can find me saying this stuff like 2 years ago. And here we are. And people are like, Rick, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. And here we are. And this is what's happened. So.
Well, we all just got to pull together and, yeah, well, I tell you, yeah, we do. We just do. We got to just.
Yeah. Billy Mustang says, "Ooh, Rick, I don't eat canned food. Are you nuts?" Oh, man.
You were only get hungry enough, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll let you go. I took up a lot of time, but thank you very much. And hugs to all the Mavericks out there and hang in there. And maybe I'll grow extra tomatoes, however.
Tomato, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, thanks, Kitty.
Tomato or tomato. Yeah, for sure.
Have a great night.
Take it easy. You have a good one.
You do. See ya. Bye.
Right on. Bye-bye.
Yeah, and just a couple of these other clips that I promised for you tonight. Here's this one making the rounds. This is Trump on a previous visit to the World Economic Forum. And I'd say this, I don't know, you guys can make your own assessment. Listen to what he says, and then everybody's like, oh no, he's anti-WEF. Oh, is he?
Well, we've loved it. We think it's a great country, a beautiful country, and we have had a tremendous success.
Yeah, great success.
And this gentleman, as you know, he's done a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more question.
Well, we've loved it. We think it's a great country, a beautiful country, and we have had a tremendous success.
Yeah, great success.
And this gentleman, as you know, he's done a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
One more question.
Just nothing to worry about. There he is with Klaus Schwab. I'm not voting for Pierre because he might have been on the website for the WEF like 25 years ago, and I don't trust that guy. Okay, man, whatever. Whatever. Just saying. It's an economic think tank. You know, the Russian equivalent of that is what, the St. Petersburg Economic Forum, I think they call it. We've covered some of that in the past. They've got their own version over there in Russia, too. Yep, they do. All right, and here finally tonight. No more calls tonight because I have to get ready for the Maverick Midnight Matinee. But I got to show you this one because you're going to love Sophie Trudeau. Helping us just pause for a moment and breathe in the new era of Trump. Not that she put it into this context. I'm adding the context. But here she is. I feel so relaxed now. And repeat, yes. Oh my goodness. I'll be back at 10 o'clock with Maverick Midnight Matinee. The movie's going to be a surprise because I haven't decided what I'm going to run yet. Oh! Oh man. Love you guys. Gonna leave you with this tonight from Maverick and the News Brothers. See you on the flip side.
Well, she's sitting in the driveway all dressed in black. Got that slick paint, you know she got the knack. Chrome glimmers in the moonlight, like a star on the rise. When I slide behind the wheel, I feel alive. Oh, I can't deny, got the little black vest, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black vest, we're a rock and roll team. Leather seats and a rumble that shakes the ground. With the top down low, we're lost in the sound. That engine growls like a lion's roar. Every mile we take, I just want more. Got the little black vest, she's my midnight ride. Rolling down the highway with my girl by my side. Fast as a whisper, smooth as a dream. In my little black van, we're a rock and roll team. Oh, the world slows down when we hit that street. The wind in our hair can't be beat. With the guitar waiting under the stars so bright. In my little black van, everything feels right.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.